It's recording.
All right. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking about leadership with some friends of mine, some participants in my Targeted Business Development program. And I've been asked to put this in a medium to be shared with a lot of other people. So I want to go through the questions that they asked me and the answers that I gave them also. So here we go. Leadership. The first question that I was asked is how to delegate and have peace of mind that something is getting done. And as we're talking about this, we'll just go through all of these things first. Second question is how can I motivate the people and encourage them to follow me? Okay, good question. Third question, letting go of the work and its fascination and pick up the mantle of leadership. How do I do that? Great question again. And then the fourth question, what is my assignment? Now all of these things are very important, and as a leader of a business, all these questions are going to come up. The next challenge was we needed to talk about what were the fears that the individuals had. The first one was, the fear was the outcome won't have my signature or my stamp on it. It won't look like me. It won't look like or be reflective of the work that I love to do. The second, I feel that I'm not called to lead, but I'm called to do the work. And when we talk about businesses and we talk about the four functional areas of business, we also have to talk about the difference between a technician, an entrepreneur, and a manager. What we're talking about in this case is that we have entrepreneurs sitting at the table who are wondering if they're really called to be entrepreneurs, or are they really just worker bees or just technicians. Now, one of the things that happens in a lot of cases, more often than we might recognize, is that we have something that Michael Gerber in the E-Myth calls the entrepreneurial seizure, and that is a technician who is good at doing the technical work makes a decision that I am so good at this, why am I doing this work for somebody else? I could be doing this work for myself and reaping the profits of my own efforts. Okay? Why in the world would I make this much money for someone else when I can make this much money for myself? Well, as a technician, they probably are excellent at the work they do. They know exactly what to do, exactly how to do it, and probably do it better than a whole lot of other people they know. However, being good at the technical work does not make an individual good at running a business that does that technical work. And that's where this question comes from. Am I called to lead as an entrepreneur? Or am I called to do the work? Well, we'll talk about that as well. Next question, being responsible for the livelihood of others. This is something that people that are entrepreneurs and have a business that is a going concern. That is to say, they have a business that's been active for about a year and a half, maybe up to 3 years or even more than that. But they're at that level where they have to make a change. Now, remember this, every business is a living organism. And because it's a living organism, it's either going to grow and keep growing, or it's going to lay stagnant and eventually die. This usually happens for business owners right around 2.5, 3 years. They've gotten to the point that they had some success, and things are moving on pretty well. But then it means that they're going to have to do this. They're going to have to take on some responsibility, especially if they start, or rather, especially those who start as a sole proprietorship. They have to take on the responsibility of hiring someone else because they need to have the assistance, at least an administrative assistant, in order for their businesses to continue growing. That makes them responsible for the livelihood of others. And that's a different level of responsibility. So the fear is, am I going to be able to do that? Am I going to be able to basically make payroll? Fourth question then, how do I keep my eye on all three offices and manage and lead the growth? This particular question comes from an individual that has an office in Green Bay, an office in Abbotsford, Wisconsin, and is about to start or open an office in Eau Claire. How do I keep my eye on all three offices? How do I make sure that things are happening the correct way in each one of those? So we're going to deal with all three of those questions. But right now I'm going to take this sheet off. I'm going to go to the sheet that comes second.